Hi guys, it's Kyle. Today I am going to be teaching you guys how I clean my tank out. I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to clean the tank. Unfortunately, my water still looks cloudy for some reason, so if it's still cloudy tomorrow, I'm probably going to go ahead and do another cleaning tomorrow, and then maybe look into like getting something that will, I don't know, keep the tank cleaner. Without further ado, this is how I clean my tank. Okay, so today I'm going to be cleaning out my fish tank. What I usually like to do first is to move my fish into a different tank. That way I don't have to worry about working around them or possibly hurting them in any ways. So what I'm going to do is put my beta in this. This is the container that I got the fish in. So I'm going to put the beta in this. I'm going to put my neon tetras in this. This is my first beta tank that I had. This was the 0.7 gallon tank. So I'm going to go ahead and try to put the betas in there. Of course, betas are really fast swimmers, so I may or may not be able to get them out. So we'll see how that goes. But first thing I'm going to do is unplug my air pump. So that way I don't have that bothering it. So I'm going to unplug that. I'm going to get the power unit out of the way, so I'm taking it out of the air pump. I don't have to worry about water backflow because I have a check valve on it to prevent water coming out of the tank. It's designed to stop water from entering the electrical unit and shorting it out. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn off my hood lamp, and I'm going to open my blinds so that it has a little more light. I have a patio right here. One of these days I'll show you the view from here, but not at the moment. So next thing I'm going to do is unplug my hood unit and then very carefully take it off and put it on the counter. I have to be careful because there's always a lot of condensation on this hood unit, and so I always have to be careful not to get water on the electrical components. So what I do is I tilt it to get most of the water off, and then I carefully pull it off and set it on my dining room table. We never use the dining room table, so I can use it for fish cleaning stuff. So very carefully just flip it. So now that I have the hood off, I can go ahead and start putting water into the tanks. I just used the cup that came with my 0.7 gallon tank, so I just get some water in each of these containers. And Bubbles probably knows that he's going to get pulled out of the tank soon because he's been through this before. Because I don't have paper towels, I'm just using a bunch of old rags. They are Colorado State rags, go Rams. But, anyways, so now to get Bubbles out. Bubbles is in his little holding tank. He's really freaked out, so I try not to do this very often. But I will put that out of the way. And now to fill up this tank. This might be a little easier if I pull everything out and pull the tank forward a little bit, so I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this jaguar skull again to make it easier to get the fish out. And again, I'm going to go ahead and rinse that off as well. Alright, now hopefully the tetras will be easier to pull out. Alright, little guys. This is going to be fun, but it has to be done. So I've got all the fish. That took a lot longer than it probably should have. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a gravel vacuum to clean off the gravel and hopefully get the water level down to an acceptable level. So this is a gravel vacuum. It's basically a glorified siphon. What you do is you siphon out water into a bucket, or in my case I have to use the sink. I know it's kind of nasty, but I always clean the sink out afterwards. So basically what you do is you take the end of the vacuum, or take the end of the siphon, put the hose on it, then you stick it in a surface that's lower than the bottom of the tank, in my case, again, my sink. And then what you do is you stick your siphon in, move it up and down rapidly.
And so what that does is, gets the water flowing into the tube, you do that until water starts flowing through the entire tube, and then siphon gets through.
And the siphon is going, so now I can clean out all the crap in my gravel. level is right about where it needs to be, so I'm going to go ahead and break the siphon by pulling it out of the water. And then that just empties the water out of the hose, and you're good to go. I will clean that here in a little bit. I'll clean the siphon here in a little bit, but until then, my water still looks really cloudy, so hopefully that resolves itself when I put more water in there. They always say never to add tap water to a tank that your fish are already in. So that's one of the reasons why I take my fish out, is because I don't have a bucket that I can pre-treat the water in. So I pull my fish out, that way I can put the water directly into the tank, treat it and wait for a little bit, and then put my fish back in. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, is I'm gonna fill the tank up, get the water fairly warm first. Just use my hose on my sink to fill up the tank. It barely reaches, so. All right, so now that I've got the water replenished mostly, obviously I still have to pour the water back in from the 2 holding tanks. So what you do now is you have to treat the water. There's 3 different things that you really need to do. Number 1 is you need to condition the water so that the chlorine is neutralized. This is Beta-Safe. You can also use Aquasafe. All these products are by Tetra brand. Beta-Safe is the same as Aquasafe. It's got the same ingredients, but what they say is you have to use 7 drops per gallon, or 1 capful, which is a teaspoon, for 10 gallons. So I'm going to try to do a half a teaspoon with this. And basically what this does is it neutralizes the chlorine. It works immediately, so I'm still going to wait a few minutes before I put my fish back in. Next thing you want to do is Easy Balance. This brings the pH levels to safe levels, and it regulates the pH and the alkalinity, and it adds vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes that are needed for a healthy tank. Directions on this are 2 teaspoons for every 10 gallons. So again, because I added 5 gallons, I'm going to do half a teaspoon. This cap is 2 teaspoons. I'm going to add, again, half a cap. And these are basically just salt compounds or other inorganic compounds. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. This solution is yellow, so it makes the water look dirty. And then the last thing you want to do is Safe Start or some other live bacteria culture. This basically establishes a healthy ecosystem in the tank and removes ammonia and nitrites. It's got live filter bacteria. So I've got half a capful. Just add that. That introduces live bacteria that are beneficial for the tank and help to regulate the ecosystem. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes for those to take effect, and then I'm going to start adding the fish back in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put my decorations back in. It's safe for me to stick my hands in because I already washed them. I'm going to go ahead and stick my airline in first. That way I can go ahead and, I guess first I have to level out the gravel, add my airline back in, turn it, no, I won't turn it back on yet actually. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and clean off my gravel vacuum while I wait for that to finish. Alright, so I think it's been long enough now that I can start adding the fish back in. The Tetra tank is going to be the most interesting. Actually, never mind, it's going to be fine. I'm going to turn it around so I don't get the wallpaper back in wet on the tank. I have to pull it out a little more so that I can finish adding the rest of the gravel. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. And now for the beta. I can push the tank back now because I know the beta tank has enough clearance that it can get underneath the cabinet. Alright, Bubbles, you're going back in your tank. Alright, and then what I do next is I'm going to add the hood back on. Actually, first I'm going to plug in my inner line. Now I'm going to add my light hood back on. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and dump it off first in the sink. I think most of the drippable water can be gone by the time I take it to the tank. And then I always try to keep the switch and the power unit clear of the water as I'm setting the hood unit on. There. Alright, we're good to go. I can just slide the switch on over behind the tank and then plug it back in and turn it back on. And voila! We have a somewhat clean tank. It's cloudy right now because of the easy balance that I added. It's yellow, so it makes the water look dirty. Hopefully that tank is clean. I might clean it again in another couple days if it doesn't clear up. But yeah, that's how I clean my tank. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my holding tanks and then clean out my counters, put those rags in the laundry. So there you have it. That is how I clean my tank. My poor tetras are pretty traumatized. I had to fish around for a long time, no pun intended, to get the tetras out of the big tank into my holding tank. I also had some problems pouring the fish back into my big tank. I feel really bad about that, but you know, cleaning a tank is something that has to be done, and I'm not about to clean the tank with them still in it. Especially since I don't have a bucket that I can pre-treat the water in and then pour it back in with them. So again, this is how I clean my tank. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Again, you can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you guys have a great day.